Hey, good morning, everyone. I hope you have a cup of coffee and want to take a few minutes with me. So, I've been going through a few things lately, and a lot of it is maybe just thought processes and dealing with my own inner struggles or challenges about different instances in my life and situations and all the things that we all have, at some point. So today's episode is going to be a little bit heavier. But I think maybe some of you need this conversation as much as I do. So if you need to get settled in a little bit more comfortable, maybe grab some Kleenex, because I don't know if I'm going to get through this without crying. Cup of coffee, maybe tea, whatever. So I was thinking recently about how pain moves through families. It's not just trauma, but pain that gets carried like an inheritance. And sometimes we inherit love, sometimes strength, but sometimes we inherit fear, anger, silence, shame, even survival. I grew up in a very difficult environment. A lot of violence and a lot of instability, a lot of confusion about just everything. And when you grow up inside that kind of energy, you don't even realize how much of it follows you into adulthood. You just think it's normal. Your behaviors are normal, the way you think is normal. You think anxiety is normal. Walking on eggshells is normal. Explaining yourself all the time is normal. Feeling like you're never enough is normal. Yeah. And then one day you wake up almost 60 years old and you realize you've spent decades carrying emotional weight that never belonged to you in the first place. That realization really hit me hard recently. I started to think about the way people weaponize pain. Sometimes people weaponize words, sometimes silence, sometimes money, sometimes guilt, sometimes family roles. And sometimes, even after someone is gone, the damage they created keeps echoing through everybody else left behind. That's the part that's hard to explain to people who didn't grow up in survival mode. I think many of us become adults still trying to win battles that started when we were children. Probably, before we were even born. We're still trying to prove ourselves, still trying to feel chosen, still trying to feel safe. And meanwhile, life, it just keeps moving on. And I think something else happens too. When you grow up in chaos long enough, survival becomes your personality. You become the strong one, the caretaker, the worker, the fixer, the one always trying to hold everything together. And after a while, you don't even know who you are without the struggle. That one's very real. That realization has been sitting really heavy with me lately. Because when I slow down, when my life gets quiet, I sometimes realize how much of my identity was built around surviving difficult people, difficult situations, and the difficult emotions. And then the questions become, what and who am I if I'm no longer just surviving? Like I said, it's been a heavy few days. That's a scary question for a lot of us, because survival mode gives us purpose in a very strange way. always fixing, always reacting, always just pushing through and always just carrying on. But eventually, you start to hear your body whisper, I'm tired. And I think that's where I've been lately. Not weak or broken. I'm just tired of carrying emotional weight that has lived in my family, and maybe yours, for generations. For a long time, I thought that success would fix everything. If I just worked harder, if I just became more successful, if I just finally became somebody, maybe then the pain would disappear. But lately, I've been realizing something. Peace and worth, they're not the same thing as achievement. And that's hard for someone like me to admit, because I've spent most of my life trying to earn my value. As a mother, as a worker, as a business person, and as someone trying to hold everything and everyone together. But underneath all of that, I think I was just trying to feel like I was enough. I know there are people listening right now who feel lost. Maybe you feel like you wasted years of your life. Maybe you feel behind, like you just can't get in front of anything. Maybe you look around and think everybody else figured it out except me. I also think many women carry grief they never speak about. Grief for the childhood they didn't have. Grief for the love they didn't receive. Grief for the years spent surviving instead of living. Grief for the version of themselves they thought they would become. And sometimes that grief shows up in different ways. Exhaustion, overthinking, anger, people-pleasing, shutting down or feeling emotionally numb. I think a lot of us are walking around functioning while quietly carrying heartbreak we never fully processed. And because we keep functioning, people assume we're okay. But I don't think healing is pretending it never happened. I think healing is becoming honest about what happened, without allowing it to define every remaining year of our lives. I don't want to become bitter. And that's something I think about a lot. Because pain that isn't processed can slowly turn into bitterness. And bitterness can quietly become an identity. I don't want that. I don't want that for myself, and I don't want that for you. I want honesty. I want healing. I want peace. But I also want truth. And sometimes truth, it's very uncomfortable. Sometimes truth is admitting something simple as, I'm still angry. I'm still grieving. Or I'm still figuring this out. But maybe healing isn't about becoming a perfect person. Maybe healing is simply reaching the point where the pain no longer controls every direction of your life. And maybe that's why I started this podcast. This needs to become something more than sitting in the toxic waste of other people's destructions, whether they're still living or past. Maybe my voice can help someone else feel less alone. Maybe your story matters too. I still have hard days. I still get overwhelmed. Oh, I still cry so many times. And I still question myself. But I also know this. I don't want the final chapter of my life to be bitterness. I want peace. I want meaning. I want laughter. I want health. I want presence. I want freedom. And I think many of us want that. So maybe today's reminder is simply this. You are allowed to stop carrying what was never yours to hold. Let that sit with you for a moment. I want to thank you for sitting with me today. And wherever you are in your own journey, I hope you give yourself a little grace tonight. This is Shirley. I wish you only love. And this is a Place to Pause podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe. And you can find the journals that I've created, where you can sit and reflect in your own space, in your own time, and take some time for yourself. The link is in my bio and the description of this episode. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for taking some time for yourself. You are so important. We are all so loved. Nyawagoa. Ganarunko.